show. We've got a podcast now. We'll get that baby up over the next hour or so. We'll talk a lot of Ravens Chiefs tomorrow on Righter Than You. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for listening. Appreciate you chilling with us here on CBS Sports Radio.
Jay Farner here, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. When you turn to Rocket Mortgage, we can help guide you to those right decisions now, when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows, so now is a great time to call 8338-ROCKET. And if you need some extra money, a cash-out refinance could give you that financial boost you're looking for. Call today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Bria's Fashion Boutique is the worst. First they asked me if I needed help finding anything. Just because I'm gorgeous doesn't mean I need help.
No matter how hard you work for your small business, online reviewers will find something to complain about.
Then they tell me they're having a sale. Oh, so you're assuming I'm poor. Cool.
And while Progressive can't save you from these trolls, we can help you save money on commercial, auto, and business insurance.
Also, they tried to give me the friends and family discount. I'm not your friend, so...
Get a quote online today at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliated and third-party insurers.
It's a story that started in a community like ours. Cal Cunningham grew up in Lexington, where church youth groups working at the local brickyard and McDonald's shaped his life. And now Cal's running a different kind of campaign for the U.S. Senate.
I'm Cal Cunningham. I want my service in the U.S. Senate to be about listening and going places where Democrats don't always go. That's what I learned growing up in Lexington, where we don't check voter registration before taking care of our neighbors. We believe in hard work and service, just like the soldiers I served with overseas.
Cal Cunningham volunteered after 9/11, a lieutenant colonel in the Army Reserve who served 3 tours and took on corrupt government contractors. And Cal will take on the corruption in Washington that's been rigging the system for the drug and insurance companies. That's why Cal's not taking corporate PAC money, because he believes the top 1% don't need more favors. It's regular folks who need a voice. He'll be a senator on our side.
I'm Cal Cunningham, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Cal for NC.
Hi, this is Billy Parker, and football is here. Tailgate at home with family and friends this season and let Parker's Barbecue do all the cooking. While tailgating at your house, let us provide all the food with our delicious chicken, barbecue, seafood, and sides. We can customize packages for any size group, big or small. Give us a call today and place your order. Parker's and football, a winning combination. Also shipping nationwide at parkersbbq.com. Parker's Barbecue is how friends and family come together.
Ahoy, mateys! To keep those cars clean, you need the Pirates Cove Fast Pass.
The new Pirates Cove Car Wash and Haviland Express Lube on Glen Burnie Road in New Bern is now open. Pirates Cove is now offering Fast Passes for $9.99 for new Fast Pass customers. These Fast Passes are good in New Bern and at all 3 Greenville locations. Visit us in Greenville on Fire Tower Road, Memorial Drive, and on East 10th Street. And now in New Bern on Glen Burnie Road.
So we have you surrounded. Pirates Cove, the official car wash partner of ECU Athletics.
In studio today with Dr. Shondell Jones from Kinetic Physical Therapy. How can you help people with back pain?
Well, most people are going to have back pain at some point during their life, but you don't have to live with it. A bad MRI or a bad x-ray does not mean you're destined to always have pain. We have specialists that are well trained to find out what the true problem is and the true source of your pain so they can get you on track to feeling better. So don't suffer with back pain. Our nationally board certified specialists are here to help you. To learn more, visit us at kptonline.com. We can help you live well, move more, and hurt less.
Hidden phone trade-ins, hidden plan requirements, hidden catches. You won't find them at US Cellular because we speak fair. Plus, when you switch right now, you can get $500 off the latest phones. Upgrade to fair. Upgrade to US Cellular. Requires new postpaid service plan, new line port, and credit approval. Qualified smartphone purchase and comes via monthly bill credit on a 30-month RIC. Taxes, fees, and additional terms apply.
Does the idea of going to your local U.S. Cellular store make you feel a bit uncomfortable? Tired of the hassle of waiting and wearing a mask? Let Toby Williams and his outside sales team take away that worry. They will come right to your home or office and drop your phone off on the porch or at the front desk for you. Saving you time and worry is what the team at Cellular Warehouse is all about. Call Toby today at 252-799-7051 and let them help you with all of your wireless needs. Cellular Warehouse, your local U.S. Cellular authorized agent.
Medicare is not one size fits all, but which plan is right for you? Hi, I'm Denise Walker, and I'm a licensed insurance agent here in North Carolina. Whether you are turning 65, new to Medicare, or already have a plan, I can help you compare your Medicare options. I can help you find a plan offering low to no monthly premiums, prescription drug coverage, and a wide range of additional benefits like dental, hearing, vision, and more. Call me today at 434-531-5674 to get a no-cost, no-obligation Medicare benefits review.
This is Pirate Radio, WGHB Farmville, 1250 and 92.7 FM Greenville, WDLX Washington, 930 and 104.1 FM Washington. The following is an exclusive presentation of Pirate Radio, the voice of the pirate nation. This is Eastern North Carolina's longest-running sports radio call-in show. The Brian Bailey Show is on the air. The Brian Bailey Show on Pirate Radio is brought to you by
Bostic Sugg Furniture, Bojangles, East Coast Grading, Angus Grill, Gavigan Insurance, Greenville Auto World, Papa John's, Pepsi, Taft and Hagelin, and by Tiebreakers.
And now, here's Brian Bailey.
Happy Monday, everybody, and welcome into the Brian Bailey Show to start your week as we are talking Pirate football. East Carolina with one game in the books, and now the Pirates will head south to Atlanta to take on Georgia State coming up this weekend. Roy Tesh, the defensive tackles coach from East Carolina, is nice enough to join us today for our hour-long conversation on Pirate football. Coach Tesh, first of all, welcome to our show today. And I tell you, man, with COVID-19 and everything we've seen, how lucky did you feel getting on that field on Saturday?
Well, it was a great feeling. First off, thanks for having me on today, but it was great to get back out there, get between the lines and hear the whistles and see the guys get after it.
You know, one of the great conversations I think I had last year in doing this show was with you, because I really enjoyed talking special teams and talking just about anything and everything, and you're so knowledgeable, so we certainly appreciate you being on with us again today. Pirates fall in the opener 51-28. The three fumbles early on, and we talked with Coach Houston after the game about it, and he said, you know, we weathered the storm early defensively, but they just bite you in the butt eventually, don't they?
Well, they're a great team, and they play with a high tempo, and anytime you're playing a team of that caliber, you've got to be on your P's and Q's in everything that you do, both sides of the ball and special teams. So, you know, hats off to them for what they did and how they approached it. We were hanging tough early, and the kids really battled it out, and really excited for them moving forward after doing that.
When you guys looked at the tape, were you pleased with the way they tackled? Because I thought they did a nice job.
I think we're coaches, so you know we obviously see everything that they do wrong every day. So I think the majority of the time our guys were going in there and taking their shots and getting guys on the ground. Obviously, there's some things that we definitely got to work on moving forward to make sure that we're at the caliber of the competition in this league. But you know, as far as our guys getting out there battling, I thought they did that.
How frustrating has it been for you, Coach, on a personal level, with this COVID-19 and trying to get guys, you know, ready to play and just, you know, starting, stopping? I mean, personally for you, how hard has it been?
It's a challenge. You know, every day brings its new problems, and in a deal like this, you've got to be about solutions and not problems. Every day is going to have its own worries. You fight the battles that day that need to be fought. You find a way to get done what you need to get done, whether it be personnel or, you know, personal health for your players, mental health for your players. You know, I think a lot of people forget that. Early on there, we had a couple guys in my position group that contracted the virus, and then you've got to go into quarantine. Well, quarantine is not an easy place to be when you're a new guy and you're by yourself and you're, you know, in your room, and so you've got to make sure that those guys mentally are locked in and staying with you as well. So every day presents a challenge. Who knows what today will hold? It's early. So we'll see. You know, we'll keep fighting the good fight and keep trying to hammer these problems out as we move forward.
It's like the old adage, there are no real problems, only solutions we haven't figured out yet, right?
Yes, sir. And if you approach it that way, you can come up with some pretty good ways to handle problems. And if you concentrate on the amount of problems, it'll overwhelm you.
And
you just got to keep moving forward.
Yeah, and you guys got surprised, on Friday with some news. I mean, you lost a couple of players late last week that you really weren't expecting.
Yeah, you do. Things pop up, and you get thrown a curveball, and you find a way to make sure that you've got the best that you have available on the field, pushing in the right direction, and the thing moves on. I think we do a great job of preparing our guys, and we did early. We sat them all down when they all got here and said, "Hey, look, this is a different world that we're going to live in this year. This is a new normal that we're dealing with. Every man's got to be willing to pull his own weight. You're going to get your number called. You got to know who you are and be ready for your moment." And so we had a couple of guys that they knew who they were and they got a moment. So we've got to make sure that we're always preparing to do that moving forward. And that means within our room, with the young guys we've got, the learning curve's got to go up and the maturity level's got to go up fast.
This is the Brian Bailey Show to start your football week. Roy Tesh, defensive tackles coach at East Carolina, is our guest. We've got the Facebook Live cranked up. If you've got a question or comment, I'll be glad to pass them along to Coach Tesh. We'll take our first commercial break. Back with more on the Brian Bailey Show on this Monday, right after this.
It's bow time.
Years from now, you'll tell your grandkids, back in my day, we could get 2 Bojangles sausage biscuits for just $2.50. And those biscuits, shoot, they were always made from scratch. And that zesty sausage, sizzling like the summer of 2033. Then your grandkids will say, "Wow, 2020 sounds amazing." And you'll say, not really. But those biscuits were. Get 2 sausage biscuits for just $2.50.
It's bow time.
Hi, I'm Ken Hagler of Taft Hagler. We're proud to be sponsors of the Brian Bailey Show and the Pirate Nation on Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation. If you've been injured on the job or due to someone else's negligence in an automobile collision, call us at 752-2000 for a free consultation with experienced professionals who care. Go Pirates!
East Coast Grading and Utilities is your source for clearing, hauling dirt, and concrete work. East Coast Grading and Utilities handles all sewer and water issues as well.
I'm David Vaughn. Whether putting in a new subdivision or helping you with any and all of your drainage problems, I can get the job done. Call me at 531-7494.
No job is too big or too small. East Coast Grading and Utilities. Friends helping friends. 531-7494 for East Coast Grading and Utilities.
2020 certainly hasn't been the year many of us were hoping for, but one thing has stayed the same. I'm Tim Sutton with Greenville Auto World, and our commitment to our customers has never wavered. Let Greenville Auto World show you how easy it is to buy a quality used car in Greenville. We believe in fair prices, superior service, and treating customers right leads to satisfied repeat buyers. Your vehicle is a big investment, and our customers trust us to keep them up and running with outstanding service and value. With Greenville Auto World, cross from Hardee's at Bell's Fork.
Weekdays are a great time to visit North Carolina State Parks. The best time to learn about nature is to be able to look, listen, and feel its natural beauty. A visit to the North Carolina State Parks is perfect for homeschoolers, scout groups, and teachers looking for a fun field trip during the week. You'll be amazed at all the natural wildlife you'll see when you experience the beauty of each North Carolina State Park. Visit ncparks.gov to get all the information on the closest park near you.
Summertime is here with hot temperatures, thunderstorms, and hurricanes. It's easy to recognize pests invading your home, but a lot of people forget about moisture destroying your home's crawl space. Pest Tech is celebrating its 20th year protecting your homes using dehumidifiers, professional grade liners, and most importantly, our licensed and highly trained technicians. Visit pesttechofgreenville.com for a free estimate on moisture control and the other silent destroyer, termites. Trust your home to the best. Pest Tech of Greenville, your East Coast exterminating professionals.
Pirate Radio 1250 and 930.
And you write that down, because when you're at East Carolina, you go for it every time. Or you don't coach at East Carolina, you don't come to East Carolina, you don't play at East Carolina with a weak heart. Write it!
The voice of the Pirate Nation. You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show. Now, back to Brian.
All right, welcome back on this Monday as we continue on, taking a look back at the UCF game and getting you set for East Carolina and Georgia State with Roy Tesh, our guest defensive tackles coach. Once again, we're on Facebook Live. Questions and comments, we'll be glad to pass them along. Craig had a little comment, Coach, and he said he really liked what he saw from the defense, looking forward to seeing the improvement from week 1 to week 2. We'll talk about that in just a moment. He said UCF's offensive pace was incredible, and really it was. I mean, you guys, you can sub, but you can only sub if UCF would sub, right?
Different ways you can sub. That's the safest way to sub.
Right.
is when they do, because they do move so fast. And, you know, we sat in the staff room once or twice, had arguments about, is it 8 seconds? Is it 7 seconds? You know, how it doesn't matter. It's fast. So you've got to make sure that you're smart in when you do roll fresh bodies. And if you don't roll fresh bodies, you're going to be in trouble. And I think that's against UCF, and that's against a lot of other teams we're going to play this year. We've got to make sure we've got the freshest guys in. So yeah, it is it's a fun deal to have to deal with there to make sure you got the right people in there at the right time.
How does that all come about when you're on the sideline? Because obviously you have to wait for the play to end to figure out down and distance. Do you have your subs ready to go regardless of down and distance, and just to see what UCF would do, or how does that work?
Combination of both. Down and distance and situation in the game plays a big role in who you want in the game. I think our guys on the sideline, our players specifically at the front there, did a good job of being behind us so that we can turn around, yell names, get them in the game quickly. If you've got young guys who aren't locked into the game, then you're trying to find guys on the sideline, and it can be an absolute catastrophe when you're trying to sub. But our guys were right behind. They know me well already. I run around like a chicken with my head cut off on the sideline, so I'll yell for their names, can't find them. They touch me on the back, I know they're there. So I can make sure that we get the ones in the game that we need at certain times. But yeah, down and distance has a lot to do with it. Sometimes just fresh legs has a lot to do when you're dealing with the pace we were on Saturday.
Was the heat a factor at all? Because I really thought that it was more humid than I thought it was going to be. But Big John had him in pretty good shape for what he had to work with this summer, didn't he?
Oh, it's Eastern North Carolina, man.
Yeah.
That's normal. That's cool.
That's right.
It was a little humid out there, but I think, again, like you said, I mean, just to echo it, Big John does a phenomenal job in that weight room, getting our guys ready to go. By the time that we get them, we're teaching them techniques and getting them into games. They've got the base layer of want to down, and they've got the win they need to push forward.
How pleased were you when you guys were able to withstand those 3 fumbles early on defensively for the most part?
I think it's exciting to see you guys get out there and compete. When you're in the heat of battle there, you're locked into really what you're doing, and not so much having a great time or enjoying it, just trying to make sure that you got the pieces where you need them and continue to keep your foot on the gas moving forward. So, after the fact, looking at the tape, we're excited for our guys the way they competed early, but we've got to find a way to continue to do that no matter what the circumstances are. We got to push forward, and we got to find a way to get the job done.
I asked Coach Houston this earlier today. What was it like as I say tunnel? The tunnel wasn't there, but as you guys were standing ready to run onto the field, what was it like when you looked around and there were no fans in the stands? And it was an important. It was the opening game. It was an important game, but because of COVID-19, we only had 350 fans, 250. Parents from the Pirate players. That's all we had in the 50,000 seat stadium. How surreal was it? How different was it?
It was extremely different. We were probably not excited to see the minimal amount of people, but grateful for the fact that our players were able to get some family members in there to see them compete. You've got to be grateful for everything you receive in this new normal world that we're living in. Would have loved to see Pirate Nation out there, the purple and gold, and have the place rocking like we're used to have it. And hopefully we'll get to that, hopefully sooner than later, because we surely do miss it. It's part of who we are as a football program. We feed off of Pirate Nation and our fans. And I will tell you this about our fans that we had there, that the parents of the guys out there, they were getting into it, as being as loud as they could be. And then we had our guys on the sideline, and we're trying to bring our own juice to the game. We had some guys out there that was their role. really some of the younger guys out there. Hey, let's go out there. Let's keep everybody rolling. So we're leaning on each other. But, yeah, we want them stadiums filled, that's for certain.
And that's got to, I don't think it'll affect recruiting because recruiting is all different this year anyway, but I think that you guys are going to almost have to go back and show videotapes of what Dowdy Ficklin Stadium is like to some of your recruits because they won't get a chance to come in with any fans.
You're 100% certain on that.
Yeah.
Lucky for us, there are tons and tons of videos of the Dowdy Ficklin faithful getting after it on the internet. So we got plenty to choose from. We just got to make sure we send them the right one.
If you had to give your defensive line a grade for the UCF game, what are you looking at there?
Well, they learned yesterday when we reviewed the tape that I'm a tough grader. So I'm always going to point out, we talk about it all the time, and I think some of the older guys realize this because they're a little bit more ingrained in college football, and some of the younger guys are figuring it out as we go. We're in the constant pursuit of perfection up front. And that's really, us following the direction of our head football coach. Because Coach Houston, he wants things perfect. Now, are we ever going to reach it? I don't know, but we're going to keep climbing and keep striving until we do. And that's the only way that you continue to build a program. You continue to get better. You continue to make yourself as good as you can be. Because if you take a second at all, take a break in anything at all, the guy behind you is working harder, and he's going to catch you. So you've got to make sure that we continue to grind together. We continue to make each other better. That's offense and defense going against each other. That's our guys on our look teams that are preparing us for our game this weekend. Everybody's got their role to play. So if I had to say a grade, I would say not there yet and continue to push.
Oh, we got a question from our Facebook Live feed. Pirate Al writing, in any chance that Romero and Willis can play on Saturday, how much did it hurt us for them not being able to play the last game?
Well, it's a day-by-day scenario, so we'll take whatever the day brings. I'm sure we'll get an update here towards the afternoon. Obviously a player as experienced as Chris, we'd love to have him in there getting after it. He's a great young man. We brought him in to help us in that role because we have so many young guys. We want to have him out there. Romero, obviously Jason there is a young guy with a lot of athletic ability, and we want all of our players available when they are. I think you probably saw most of Pirate Nation saw there. We're going to roll a lot of people up front. And that's I get accused all the time of being a hockey coach because I'll just throw the penalty kill line in there and keep them rolling. But we like to have the fresh bodies, and we want everybody available. So hopefully we get an update on that soon.
And I know because of the HIPAA rules and other things, I mean, I'm not even sure how much we can talk or you can talk about some of but there's so many complications that go along with this, and some of that is contact tracing, and some of that comes from campus, and there's some of that stuff. You can do everything you can possibly do to keep your team and keep everybody, in line, and you guys are testing 3 times a week, but it's almost impossible to keep everybody straight, isn't it?
It's a challenge. It surely is. I think our guys in the locker room, our coaches, and then the folks around our program are answering the call as best as anyone can. I think our guys have been locked into protecting each other by making sure that we're doing what we need to do to be safe, wearing those masks when you can, social distancing. They do a great job at least in our room and our meetings of guys doing that. I don't know that there's a equation or a formula to success, but if there is one, we're pretty close to it. Our guys have been doing a great job of doing the best we can to get who we need on the field and who we need available.
I know Coach Houston has said, a number of times this summer, even some of his talks that Oz sends out on social media and stuff that gentlemen, we're trying to protect our season. We're protecting one another, but we're also trying to protect our season because if you do have a rash of cases or through contact tracing and you can lose, I think Virginia Tech had a bunch of players out the other day and they still rolled against North Carolina State. So, there's so much involved. How tired are you of being tested 3 times a week?
Well, my nose is tired. I can assure you that. It is not something you get used to.
Oh.
So but it's what we got to do to remain safe.
Yeah.
Our medical folks. I'm not a doctor. I'm a defensive tackles coach. I stick down there in the A and the B gaps and try like crazy to keep human bodies in those spaces so they can't run the ball in there. I leave it to the doctors and the training staff and our administration to do what's best for us to make sure that our players are well taken care of. Because at the end of the day, football is extremely important, but it pales in comparison to making sure that your guys, your players, and really they're your family members. I joke all the time with my guys in the room that my daughter, my 7-year-old daughter, and my 2-year-old little boy, they got some big brothers now, and we got a chance one time to get them to see them this year with all the COVID stuff going on. So we got to make sure that we, when this stuff breaks, and hopefully there's a light at the end of the tunnel, that they get to see their big brothers again. But at the end of the day, it's all about making sure our guys are safe.
Don't you hope that at some point we never hear the term new normal again?
I'm sure that it will rear its ugly head again. If I've learned anything about the pandemic, the term fluid means
fluid?
We don't really know.
Yeah.
We don't really know what's going on. We'll tell you something different tomorrow, and it'll be the new normal. So I hope it goes away, but life will bring things your way that you got to be prepared to roll for the punches with, and this is just one of them.
All right, Josh has written in. He says that seeing the entire defensive line able to rotate in and out was nice to see. He wants to say that was that by design or something that you can expect or we can expect to see throughout the season this year?
And yes, it was by design to make sure that we had fresh bodies in there to keep up with the UCF tempo. But UCF, while they may be one of the faster teams we see rolling down the field this season, they won't be the last tempo team we see. And we've got some bright young guys on the interior there that we've got to make sure we've got the freshest bodies in there to execute. Sometimes, one of your better players is not as good as one of your younger players if he's running at 60 or 50% because he's tired. So we've got to make sure that we have who we need in there that can execute Coach Harrell's defense.
When you got together at the end of this thing, did you guys look at your defensive linemen and look around and was everybody like, hey, I got enough snaps this game? I mean, because you had everybody in. I mean, we're going to talk about some of the names in just a few minutes, but it seemed like you were able to get those guys in, and like you said, you kind of related it to hockey, and it kind of is like that. You got a line change and they're fresh legs, and they go at it and give 110%, then they come off and a new group comes on, and no matter how much talent you have, if you're going at 70% and somebody else is going at 110, you need that guy at 110, don't you?
Yes, sir, you do, and you've got to make sure that your ability to stop what it is that they're doing is matching their ability to do what it is they're doing. And if you've got a wind issue or a fatigue issue, then sometimes the technique is not the great equalizer anymore. The fresh legs are. So we do make sure that we've got those guys squared away.
Did you see a lot of cramping? I don't think as much on East Carolina's side as we saw on UCF. It seemed like in the first half that there was a guy down almost every third or fourth play.
There were a lot of stoppages over there on the game, and while the offense is on the field over there, I'm trying to make sure that my guys are locked into the adjustments and stuff that we're making. But it did seem like there were several stoppages when the O's were out there. So I'm not sure what was going on over there on the other side. I'm just glad we got Big John in our weight room making things happen.
I've never seen a game like UCF started on offense when they had 4 straight false starts. Have you been a part of anything like that before?
No, that one was a first. We were moving around a little bit on them, and maybe that was affecting them at some point, but I've never seen anything like that. And the longer you stay in this game, I'm sure Coach Shankweiler and Coach Kirkpatrick can tell you all kinds of stuff that I ain't never seen yet from experiences. But that one was a first.
As a coach, if you go 4 straight offside penalties, how crazy would you go on the sideline?
I think you'd be up in arms a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm glad it wasn't. I'm glad it wasn't the opposite of that, because I probably would have been running up and down the sideline more than I normally do.
I'm telling you, that was just bizarre to see, because you think of UCF, you think of that high-powered offense, and they came in. I'm not sure if they came out a little flat, obviously, and they can flip it around the barnyard for sure. They've got some talented players, and they did some really, really exquisite things on offense at times. But for them to start the game with 4 consecutive false starts, that was just mind-boggling to watch, wasn't it?
Well, it was different. We weren't expecting them to start out like that. Obviously, we were expecting them to get rolling and stay rolling, and that's what they did once they settled down and got back into what they do. They're a fine football team. First class, high caliber, well coached crew of guys, and so you expect them, even when they hit adversity, you expect a caliber team of that to get it wrangled back in, get it calmed down, and get it moving, and they did.
Roy Tesh, defensive tackles coach at East Carolina, is our guest on this Monday. We'll take another commercial break. We'll come back more with Coach Tesh as we roll on after this.
Back into what they do. They're a fine football team.
Welcome to Jack Brown's. What can I get for you?
You guys got chicken strips?
Nah, we don't have those.
Can I get a salad?
No, we don't carry salads, ma'am.
Well, what do you have?
We are glad you asked. This ain't no regular degular. This is American Wagyu beef.
These ain't your Uncle Timmy's charcoal bricks. Kiss the cook, kiss my grits.
Our burgers are 4 ounces of hand-pressed, made-to-order, perfectly seasoned ecstasy in a potato roll.
4 ounces not big enough for you, big man? Double patty time!
Or just grab a cheeseburger.
Jack Brown's, 805 Dickinson Avenue, Greenville.
Let's turn a trip to the branch into a tap on your phone. Let's hit pause on a lost debit card without hitting pause on life. That's how First National Bank is redefining convenience, with a top-rated mobile app that puts more security and control at your fingertips, and friendly people to help you succeed right by your side. Let's get started at fnb-online.com or your local First National Bank. FNB member FDIC. Hidden phone trade-ins, hidden plan requirements, hidden catches. You won't find them at US Cellular because we speak fair. Plus, when you switch right now, you can get $500 off the latest phones. Upgrade to fair. Upgrade to US Cellular. Requires new postpaid service plan, new line port in, credit approval, qualified smartphone purchase, and comes via monthly bill credit on a 30-month RIC. Taxes, fees, and additional terms apply.
Does the idea of going to your local U.S. Cellular store make you feel a bit uncomfortable? Tired of the hassle of waiting and wearing a mask? Let Toby Williams and his outside sales team take away that worry. They will come right to your home or office and drop your phone off on the porch or at the front desk for you. Saving you time and worry is what the team at Cellular Warehouse is all about. Call Toby today at 252-799-7051 and let them help you with all of your wireless needs. Cellular Warehouse, your local U.S. Cellular authorized agent.
If you are push mowing your yard using an inefficient lawn tractor, or your current zero-turn spends more time in the shop than mowing your grass, it's time you look at a Hustler zero-turn lawnmower. Residential mowers from Hustler are built like tanks and drive like sports cars. All Hustler mowers have fabricated, welded steel decks. Don't settle on cheap units with flimsy stamped decks from big box stores. Come see Ron Ayers Motorsports. It will guide you to the right mower for your property and your budget. Find us at Ron Ayers Motorsports, Highway 11 north of the airport in Greenville.
Great news, amigos. Chico's Dine-In Service is back open every day. Come and enjoy favorites like shrimp tacos, steak and chicken fajitas, burritos, enchiladas, ACP, and more. Chico's is still offering to-go and curbside service as well by calling 757-1666. Don't forget to stock up on Chico's famous margarita mix for only $9.99 per half gallon. Follow Chico's on Facebook and Instagram for daily updates. For Mexican food and fun, it's got to be Chico's for dine-in or to-go.
This is former ECU football player Bryce Williams, and you're listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation.
You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show. Now, back to Brian.
All right, welcome back on this Monday. Roy Tesh, defensive tackles coach, our guest today. Linebackers and special teams last year for Mike Houston in his second year with the Coach Houston staff. Talk about defense for a minute with East Carolina, and Tom McClellan put these in the game notes last week, but since 2017, the coordinators run down like this: Kenwick Thompson and Robert Prunty from 17, David Blackwell in 18, Bob Trott in 19, and Blake Harrell now in 2020. So that's a lot of different philosophies and different changes. And Coach, that's really difficult for players to grasp that quickly, especially in a year like this with COVID-19.
Well, absolutely it is, and I'll say the one stat that probably rivals that is the number of defensive line coaches that have been here.
Yeah.
And luckily for me, all of my guys are young, so they haven't had as many of those faces come in and out, over the years. But it is unique to have a situation like that. But I think the guys, they do what they do. They come in and they learn the new schemes. They learn what it is, the new fundamentals that their coach is trying to get them to do, and they find a way to get the job done. And I think that's what you'll continue to see from us with Blake Harrell's defense. And I've worked with Blake before. Obviously, I've worked with Coach Houston for a long time. I've worked with Trip Weaver, our secondary coach, before. The more I get to know Steve Ellis, our corners coach, the more I just love him. And then Coach Sweet and I have been together at two different schools as well, worked together for a long time. So you've got some continuity in the defensive staff room for us. We're excited about it, and I think our guys are excited about Coach Harrell's new defense, and we'll keep pushing forward.
We're with you live today on Facebook, and we've got some questions, comments coming in. Feel free to jot them down. I'll read them on the air. Josh wants to know, with some of the busted coverages that turned in some big plays for UCF, how much of an emphasis will some of that be this week in practice?
Well, I would assume that our secondary coaches and Coach Harrell are definitely going to fix all the problems.
Yeah.
The guys in the back now, when my guys mess up front, there's linebackers behind them and
that's right.
behind them, and y'all don't see it as much. When a secondary guy messes up, everybody sees it. And I think that Coach Weaver will do an excellent job right there of getting those guys squared into the way to what we need to do this way to take care of business.
All right, let's talk about some of your players a little bit, and let's talk about some of their strengths, what you saw on film, and that kind of thing. Take us through just some of the guys on that defensive line.
Well, we had 6 bodies that we played in the interior at tackle, and I think we played probably 4 or 5 more on the edge at the end spots at the both defensive end positions. But the guys, some of the older guys that we played. And when I say older, I'm going to preface this with only 2 of them have played in the game before.
Wow.
Hosey, was the nose at Forrest in there, and our guys move around are very multiple. So he's out there in the interior for us. Hosey did a great job, running around in there and really, playing fundamental down in there. Rick DeBrew, played also down there in the interior for us. He had a fairly productive game. I think both those guys right there have a lot of stuff we need to work on to get them to where they need to be. But those guys really hammered it out in there. You saw D'Angelo McKinney down there who was seeing, I believe, we argued about this during the early pandemic, but I believe that was his first defensive line game action this weekend. He played for us on special teams last year, and I believe he was a tight end before we got here. We had D'Angelo down in there to really did some good things for us as well, and then you had Travion Freshwater. Fresh got in there and was battling down there in between the tackles as well. And then you had some of the young puppies in there, Xavier McIver and Elijah Morris, who really rotated in some clutch situations. So we had those guys, those young babies down in there when we were tight to the goal line, and they were able to hold up.
There's a lot of interest in Travion Freshwater, obviously, because he's an Eastern North Carolina kid, played up at Northeastern up in Elizabeth City, and he was such an outstanding high school player. What's the big picture with him? How good can he be?
I think Travion he has a lot of potential. He really does. He's got a lot of ability to do things that some of his teammates cannot do. So he's got to continue to develop and continue to push himself to be the best version of himself that he can be. And I think that if he continues to do that, he can be a very, very, big force in our defense. But again, he's young. and a lot of these guys are, and they've got to learn the game of college football, which is why you don't flip on the TV every year and see freshman defensive linemen out there battling it away. If you do, it's because they are pretty good players. Normally you see the older guys that have been in there with Big John in that weight room and, bent some bars on the squat and the bench press down there with all the weight, been very, very developed. So when you see these young guys moving around down in there, they have the ability to be good players. They just got to continue to get better every day.
They got to get bigger. They got to get stronger. They got to get faster. But they can't do that overnight, especially in a year like this year has been. But they're so young. You look at the depth chart from the UCF game, and the new depth chart will come out tomorrow. But you got sophomore, you got a freshman from high school, sophomore. You got the senior. That's Hosey. You got another freshman, another redshirt freshman. So I mean, you talk about puppies and babies, but these guys are really young.
But they are, and the learning curve's got to go up. And we sat them down very early on when we first got back in here. And we talked about it on the Zoom calls. And I turned the word Zoom into a 4-letter word in my house. I hate Zoom. So I don't allow people to say that in my house. But we brought them in when we all got back together and said, hey, this is what the world is going to tell you, that you're young and your time is coming, and I'm here to tell you your time is now. And the learning curve has got to go up, and we've got to get a lot better, a lot faster. And we're going to put our foot on the gas, and we're going to compete. And here are the non-negotiables. You're going to give effort. You're going to know what to do, and you're going to do it 100 miles an hour. And when we say give effort, that's not us being soccer moms. That's saying we're going to get to the level of expectation of the defense. That's our teammates, the level of expectation of our defensive coordinator, what he wants to flip the tape on and see us doing, and then the level of expectation of the head football coach when he flips the tape on, what he wants to see us doing. And lucky for us, we're all on the same page. We flip that tape on. We want to see guys executing at a high level, as fast as humanly possible, and moving around and playing with our chin out over our toes. So our guys understand what the expectation is. Are we where we need to be? No. Are we a defensive front that's going to continue to improve? Yes. When we get to where we need to be, I don't know when that's going to be. It may be tomorrow when we hit the practice field. But rest assured, the day after, we're going to continue to strive to be the most perfect group that we can. We'll continue to grow as a result of that.
Last year you were in charge of special teams, but when we talked last year, you kind of said everybody brings something to the table. It's kind of like one of those church dinners. After church, everybody brings a dish. Everybody brings something to the table for special teams. Is it the same pretty much this year?
It is. I think that's program-wide. I think everybody's got a role, and everybody has something that they do well, and they do probably a little bit better than anybody else, or they would not be here. That's the recruiting philosophy that you get into. You recruit guys that make you better and that have a special skill set. So I think no matter what position room you're looking at, everybody has a mission, and everybody has something that they bring to the table. And they've got to know that mission is important because nobody else can do it. I mean, we're sitting in here last night breaking down tape, and we've got Miss Phyllis who comes in and helps clean up the facility here, and that's her mission, and she does a great job of it. We love her to death for it. She keeps us laughing in here. She's coming here giving us all kinds of she's getting on us, making sure we're staying tight. But Miss Phyllis has a job to do, just like everybody else, and because of that, it's important to her. She gets it done, and if this place didn't look good, then we wouldn't be able to get recruits. So everybody's mission is important, and our guys got to understand that whether it's hold the A-gap on this play or blitzing off the edge on that play or bending and tack on the right guy when you're supposed to, whatever it is you bring to the table, you've got to make sure that it is important to you and to everyone else, and that way we can accomplish our mission.
Roy Tesh joining us on this Monday. We're going to take another commercial break. We'll come back and we'll get the X's and O's out on Georgia State from the Sun Belt Conference. They had a weird deal this past week. We'll talk about that a little bit. Get you set for Pirate football against the Panthers of Georgia State, and that's coming up for you right after this.
Hi, this is Jeff Charles, and this is a Pirate Radio Sports Break presented by Ron Ayers Motorsports north of the airport on Highway 11 in Greenville, with the best selection of motorcycles in eastern North Carolina. The Pirates are scheduled to play Georgia State in Atlanta Saturday at 12 noon. ECU will be coming off a 51-28 loss to UCF. The Carolina Panthers posted their first win of the year with a 21-16 victory over the Chargers. Washington lost to Cleveland 34-20. The Cowboys lost to the Seahawks 38-31. Former Pirate Zay Jones had 3 receptions for 32 yards. His Raiders lost to the Patriots 36-20. Both teams are 2-1. Sunday Night Football, Green Bay 37, New Orleans 30. Tonight, 2-0 Kansas City will be at 2-0 Baltimore. Pirate Radio coverage begins at 7:30. It's Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final tonight, and Tampa Bay can wrap up the series with a win and a cup with a victory over Dallas. Face-off time at 8 o'clock. This has been a Pirate Radio Sports Break.
Let me tell you a thing or two about the people who don't compromise. For starters, they love a nice, cold Pepsi Zero Sugar. Why? Because it's delicious, it's refreshing, and it has zero sugar. How's that for not compromising? They're the sort of person that likes surf with their turf. Because who decided beef shouldn't have a buddy? And a drink with their feast? Yeah, they have a Pepsi Zero Sugar. The person who doesn't compromise loves a good golden doodle. All the golden retriever goodness with just a hint of doodle. No compromises there. Oh, and when they're bringing said golden doodle for a walk, they bring a Pepsi Zero Sugar. They're the kind of person jorts were made for. 50% jeans, 50% shorts, 100% the most comfortable thing that's ever graced your wardrobe. Not compromising never looked so good. So crack open a Pepsi Zero Sugar and taste what it's like to have it all. Pepsi Zero Sugar. Zero sugar done right. That's what I like.
First came the PCC location, then came the ECU location on Jarvis Street. Now introducing the newest store at 10th Street at the Food Line near Walmart. It's Angus Grill 3. 3 restaurants featuring all of your favorite burgers and more. They've got your classic Angus, steak burger, brisket burger, black and blue burger, sweet sriracha burger, jalapeno popper burger. You get the idea. Now with 3 options for the best burger in town. Angus Grill at PCC, Angus Grill at ECU, and now Angus Grill at 10th Street in the Food Line Shopping Center. It's Greenville's best burger, times 3.
Humana is proud to serve veterans. If you've recently turned 65 or become Medicare eligible, Humana would be proud to help you with your Medicare decisions or any questions that may arise. Let an agent assist you now to determine which Humana Medicare plan may best serve you. Humana can teach you about health plans, which will provide you with the access to products and programs to help support a healthy life. Humana is proud to be the National Medicare Advantage Plan provider to the veterans of foreign wars.
This is Denise Walker. Call me today at 434-531-5674 to get a no-cost, no-obligation Medicare benefits review.
Hey everybody, this is David Glenn, and you're listening to my favorite station in Eastern North Carolina, Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation.
You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show. Now, back to Brian.
All right, welcome back to our show on this Monday to get you set for Pirate football. Game week begins right here each and every Monday at noon here on Pirate Radio. Roy Tesh, defensive tackles coach, joins us from his office over at East Carolina as the Pirates have today off as far as practice goes, and they get back on the practice field coming up tomorrow. Coach, let's go through the X's and O's. What have you seen about Georgia State so far in your film work?
Very talented on offense, very, very experienced crew of athletic and big offensive linemen up front. They got a really good quarterback who is very, very mobile. Got a good crew and stable of running backs. And, you know, we're going to have our hands full because they're a really, really good football team. They went down to the wire with the one game that they had there and really, you know, really got after a good football team in Louisiana. So it's going to be a challenge for us this weekend.
Georgia State was supposed to play at Charlotte, which would have given you guys another game to look at on film. That game was postponed. It hasn't been rescheduled, as far as I know, yet, because they had some COVID-19 tests late in the week, and they turned out to be, you know, a false reading on the test. That's got to be the ultimate in frustrations, doesn't it?
It has to be for them, and you know, I hate it for them, for their guys to prepare all week, and then you're ready to roll out, and all of a sudden, no, you can't go. And as I said before, I'm not a doctor, but I don't understand how how this stuff works. Sometimes you can be tested, and it's an 80% chance you might not whatever have it tomorrow or the day. I can't keep up with all of it. It's got to be frustrating to be in that situation. I hope that we don't get into that situation moving forward. But every day, like we said before, brings its own challenges. So we'll just keep pushing. I'm sure they're going to keep pushing, and they'll be ready to go, and we will too.
The quarterback you were talking about is Cornelius Brown. He was 23 of 39, 196 yards, a touchdown, and an interception in that loss to Louisiana. Louisiana was ranked 19th 2 weeks ago against Georgia State. 34-31, the Panthers fell to Louisiana in overtime. But really, the tape that I saw, I really thought that Georgia State played a really good football game, and they were very athletic on offense.
I agree 100%. I've watched that tape several times already, and we'll continue to break it down as we're moving forward. They're very athletic. They're explosive. They have the ability to make big plays, and I think them being older up front, poses some issues for us to continue to work on. Very similar to what we had in the last game, just with our young guys. But again, the learning curve will go up. I'm sure Coach Harrell we'll have a 100% fired up and aggressive plan to defend them, and we'll hit it, we'll learn it, and we'll keep grinding until we get down there.
Their running back, and you said they have a couple of them, but Destin Coates got the bulk of the carries in that loss to Louisiana. What kind of running back is he?
A good one. Yeah, I think all running backs have a little something they do a little bit better than others, but he'll fire it up in the hole now. He's not scared to stick his foot in the ground, get vertical, and get in between some of them big linemen they got. He's athletic enough to get out there in space and make people miss. He's also got some speed to him as well, so he's a very well-rounded guy.
How will a road trip in 2020 be different than one in 2019 with the COVID-19 situation and with when you guys go to hotels? Usually, you have team meetings, you have walkthroughs. I mean, how is all that going to go in an away game now?
Well, we're about to find out.
Yeah,
it's
got to be different.
It is and it ain't. I think Coach Houston is really bearing the brunt. And our support staff are bearing the brunt of making sure that whatever it is that we've got to do is as similar to what we normally do as it can be. And I think they did a great job this weekend, with our schedule moving into the game. I'm sure they've got it already mapped out. Normally our support staff, Coach Steele, and those folks have gotten this stuff mapped out months in advance. And we're in the very late in the pandemic here, so they've known that it's going to be different for quite some time. I'm sure they'll have it hammered out, but we'll get done what we need to get done to remain sharp and make sure we put the final touches on there before we go out there for the game.
When you guys put together a game plan, take us through what goes on with Coach Harrell. He's your defensive coordinator, so he's the boss of the defense. I know you all the assistant coaches bring stuff to the table, but how do you guys lay it out? Do you look at tape and say, everybody talks about what you think will work against a particular offense, and how does all that come apart or come together, really?
I think Coach Harrell does a great job. Blake does an awesome job of including everyone into his game plan for the week. He sits there, he understands that each one of us do bring a little bit something different to the table as far as our not necessarily what we're coaching, but as far as the way we look at things. So he's going to ask me about things that I'm seeing in the interior on the offensive line, and then he's going to incorporate that and make sure it fits with what Coach Ellis and Coach Weaver are seeing over there in the passing game and in the back end. And then we're going to come all together and make sure that the things that we see fit, and then finally he's going to put his stamp on it to make sure that it fits within what it is that he's trying to do to make sure we're accomplishing the goal. So he does a great job of delegating some aspects of what we're looking at, and then bringing it all together, and that's the hallmark of a really good coordinator.
East Carolina and Georgia State, 12 noon kickoff on ESPNU this Saturday. Next week, East Carolina on the road again at USF, and that game will be a 7 o'clock kickoff on ESPN+. So, Coach, question there. Would you rather have the noon kickoff or the 7 o'clock kickoff on the road?
I'm a fan of the noon kickoff. When I was coming along, noon was the only time you played college football, and you got out there and you got it in. I love the noon kickoff. You don't have to wait around all day for it. I understand there's a lot of factors that go into that that are way above my understanding of television and everything else, but I'm a fan of the noon kick.
When you look at night games on the road, it's always one of those deals you have to wait around and do things. In this era with COVID-19, I mean, how do you keep the guys? You got to keep them apart and then get them together. I mean, I would say that's going to be a challenge as well for the USF game.
It is. It's social distancing and making sure that you're spread out, masked up, and doing what you need to do to stay safe is part of the new normal deal that we've got to deal with. And it's driving me nuts. I'm a hugger. You know, I give my guys a hug, and now I can't do that anymore. And my guys are probably thankful for that. But, you know, it presents its own challenges, and you got to do what you got to do to stay safe. But you got to remember that, yes, we're socially distanced. Yes, we're wearing a mask. But, yes, we're here to do a job, and we've got to make sure that we're prepared to get that job done on game day.
Wrapping things up with Roy Tesh, defensive tackles coach. Coach, when you guys go through a defensive call, you know, obviously without giving anything away, but take us through what happens with the call. Can you give us like a generic vanilla call and what that says for the defensive lineman to do, what it says for the linebackers, what it says for the defensive backs?
Normally you got about a series of several words that go in there, and a lot of times it's a word to tell you how to get lined up, a word to tell you what to do, and then up front and at the linebacker level, and then a word to tell you what we're doing in the back as far as coverage-wise. So there's a lot of things that go into that mouthful of stuff that come out, situations, down and distance. For example, if we were playing a normal base defensive scheme, you're still gonna get those three words there, and each one of those words is gonna tell our guys something that they've got to make sure that they handle up front for any specific play, and that changes every snap throughout the game. So Coach Harrell does an excellent job of making sure he's got all the pieces put together, and I think we do a great job of staying in our lanes with our guys. I don't worry about the secondary guys because I know we got two great secondary coaches. And I don't worry about the linebackers because I know Coach Harrell's got those guys dialed in. I worry about the guys that are in the A and the B gaps, making sure that they execute the call at that specific point. And then we move on and we make adjustments. And we don't worry about the offense because we got some phenomenal offensive coaches that get the job done over there as well. So that's basically, it's one play at a time. Did we get it right? Did we not? Make a note. When we get off the field, let's fix it and let's move on.
How much fun has it been this week getting a chance to watch your game tape, against another opponent, not, a scrimmage tape or a practice tape, but watching actual game action and then getting with the guys? Because, the old adage is also the fact that teams make their most improvement from game 1 to game 2, and that's what we're going to see coming up this week. But it just had to be, really rewarding in this year to get a chance to A, play the game, and B, get a chance to react to it and then go on to game 2.
I think with all the frustrations that we've had leading up to the game, to be able to step out there and play it was a blessing. It's not normal, but it's close, and it's why we signed up to do this, to go out there and compete. And I think our guys enjoyed being able to do that. Obviously, we wish the outcome would be a little bit different, but when you come in here and you sit down, it is good to watch the tape and learn against another opponent and learn how to get better. I don't want to say it gets stale, but you get a lot of the same situations that occur when you're doing the scrimmage stuff. So we've had some things that we've learned here yesterday with the tape that are going to move forward and make us a better football team.
As a defensive tackles coach, how much fun is it when it's 4th and inches and your guys are in the trenches and everybody's fired up and I was going to say the crowd's on its feet, but right now there's no crowd, but still, man on man, and you get a chance to make that stop.
That's the one you live for.
Yeah.
And we've seen it, and you get down in there. I get more satisfaction out of seeing guys execute the right fundamentals, play with their chin out over their toes the way we coach them to play, and have success than I ever did as a player. And those guys, it's just fun to see them get out there and compete. And they're feeling it when they get into that situation with their hand in the dirt. And I'm excited for them to see them get out there and get after it.
Roy Tesh joining us today on the Brian Bailey Show. Coach, thanks so much for your time today. We're going to let you go because I know you got a lot of things to do, and we certainly appreciate every second you've spent with us during this noon hour. It's great to talk Pirate football again. It's great to preview the next game. I mean, now it's almost normal for many of us. But best of luck this week as the Pirates go down to Atlanta to take on Georgia State.
Well, I appreciate it, son, and thanks for having me on.
All right, thanks so much. Roy Tesh, defensive tackles coach at East Carolina. We will come back and wrap up this edition of the Brian Bailey Show for you coming up after this.
Hey Pirate fans, the Papa John's menu has grown again with the all-new grilled buffalo chicken papadilla. The papadillas are part sandwich, part pizza, and are only $6. Choose from the all-new grilled buffalo chicken, Philly cheesesteak, Italian, pepperoni meatball, and barbecue chicken and bacon, all for only $6 each. Also for a limited time, get any large 5-topping pizza for only $13.99. Place your order today online at papajohns.com and sign up for Papa Rewards. Papa John's, the official pizza of the ECU Pirates. Wouldn't it be great if you could get auto, home, life, and business insurance all from one agency? Well, that's where the Gavigan Agency comes in. They can help protect what is important to you. So why not simplify your life? See the Gavigan Agency in Greenville or give them a call today at 252-756-1400. Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Mutual Insurance Company and Affiliates, Columbus, Ohio. Subject to underwriting guidelines, review, and approval.
At Tiebreakers, we pride ourselves on serving
big, juicy wings.
I'm talking
big and juicy.
Our chickens are the same ones that kick sand in the other chickens' faces. If our chickens played football, they'd be linebackers. The competition's chickens, they'd be
skinny little kickers.
Trade those kickers in for linebackers.
Tiebreakers is open every day at 11 a.m. Follow Tiebreakers on Facebook and Instagram for daily updates.
Can't make it to the game? Relax. Bostic Sugg Furniture can provide you with the best seats in the house. We have the area's largest selection of Lazy Boy motion furniture in stock and ready to go. Lazy Boy recliners, reclining sofas, love seats, and reclining sectionals in hundreds of colors, styles, fabrics, and leather, all at a very comfortable price. Remember, when it comes to Lazy Boy motion furniture, we're your ticket to the best seats in the house. Bostic Sugg Furniture in Greenville.
Get your ice cold Bud Light Seltzer here. Even though you can't go to the game, doesn't mean the game can't be brought to you now here. Just go to budlight.com/delivery. That's budlight.com/delivery.
Give me 2 mangoes.
Coming at you. It's a little short. Ow. Sorry. You know what? I'm just going to walk them over to you.
Whenever there's a game to watch, there's a Bud Light there. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, and Bud Light Seltzer, IRC Beer, beer in Texas, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hey, this is Chef David Finelli from Pop's Old Fashioned Cheeseburgers. Today I'm going to tell you about our family meal deals for 4 hungry adults. We offer Finelli's Cafe lasagna, chicken parmesan, eggplant parmesan, spaghetti and meatballs, our hamburger steak and gravy with mashed potatoes, pork chops. If you'd like to order, please go to our Pop's Old Fashioned Cheeseburgers Facebook page or our website. Choose your meal, order online, pay online, roll up, and we'll get it right out to your car. Thank you from the Pops crew.
This is Coach Blake Harrell, defense coordinator for East Carolina football, and you're listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation.
You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show. Now, back to Brian.
All right, we are wrapping things up. I want to thank Roy Tesh for being on with us, the defensive tackles coach from East Carolina. The Pirates on the road this week taking on Georgia State. If you were listening to the show, you kind of heard us talk about Cornelius Brown, the quarterback for for Georgia State. Pretty good quarterback, pretty good athletic quarterback. 23 of 39, 196 in the loss for Georgia State to Louisiana. And as we said earlier, Georgia State was supposed to play at Charlotte, which would have given the Pirate coaching staff another film to look at. That game was postponed after some positive tests for COVID-19 that turned out to be negative. So that didn't turn out so well as far as that goes. But still, East Carolina Pirate football back on the air. What time you guys on the air on it's at 8 a.m., 4 hours before kickoff, right? And I'll be in the 9 a.m. hour with Clip Brock. Clip joins us very quickly. Nice job on the pregame and the postgame this past weekend. I think everything went pretty smooth, didn't it?
Yeah, I think it did, and appreciate you being on with us in the 9 o'clock hour. We'll do that again this Saturday.
That'll be fun. That'll be a little breakfast time for the Pirate Radio crew, and then East Carolina Pirate football after that. Kind of a surreal atmosphere at East Carolina this week with the situation with no fans in the stands. It took a little bit of getting used to. I was talking to Coach Houston earlier today, and he said once the game started, he kind of zoned it all out. I think that was the same way in the press box, because once you figured out the fact that the fans weren't going to be cheering because there weren't any fans there, you kind of just focused in on the football game, and it turned out to be pretty good. So it was football, and it was back, and that's definitely a positive. That's our show. I want to thank Roy Tesh once again, the defensive tackles coach at East Carolina, for joining us today. We'll be back here next week with the Brian Bailey Show, and hope you have a great sports week. Goodbye, everybody.
This has been the Brian Bailey Show, brought to you by
Bostic Sugg Furniture, Bojangles, East Coast Grading, Angus Grill, Gavigan Insurance, Greenville Auto World, Papa John's, Pepsi, Taft and Hagelin, and by Tiebreakers.
Join us next time for another edition of the Brian Bailey Show, exclusively on Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation.